the week is going to my guy Nit Ram. What's going on, bro? How are you?
What's going on? I'll share a link on Twitter. I wasn't prepared. What's going on?
Oh, you're good. You're good. I'm happy you're on. Because last week I wanted to ask you the question about botches. Sadly, I gave that question to Brandon because he was a fan and I wanted to know how he thought. So this week I wanted to give you maybe even a tougher question. I know the IWC doesn't like you very much. You're considered a hater in the world of wrestling. But for you, sir,
Mhm.
what is more memorable? A 5-star match or a 5-star promo? And why?
It's funny because I'm very big on in-ring wrestling, but it's a 5-star promo. Um, People hate this about me. When I get really excited about promos, I'll be like, pass me the aux and play it like it's a song and show people like, yo, he cooked him, right? And like, there's something about a promo that will last forever in my head, and I'll
Hmm.
constantly think about it. I'll just constantly in my mind be like, man, I still think about when Edge was like, I hate you to John Cena, and the way he said it, it was bigger than any match they ever had. You know, there's something about when John Cena told Roman Reigns, it's called a promo, big dog. If you're gonna be the big dog, you got to know how to cut one. So to me, it's like a 5-star promo is like a legendary status, and it lives rent free. When you look up a 5-star match, you might think like, oh, Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega, and then you get all these results for it. But I can pinpoint a promo to one line and find it instantly because it's that legendary. So to me, a 5-star promo lives way longer than a 5-star match will ever.
I honestly thought you was going to come on here and say the opposite because I for one, I think a promo is more memorable than a match. Um, but I thought you were going to say a match, and I thought you were going to hit me with a Kenny Omega Will Ospreay match, or just Will Ospreay anything, or Kenny Omega anything, Daniel Bryan anything. But but you didn't, and you chose a promo. And honestly, I never really thought about telling somebody to pass me the aux and playing it like it was a song. But you have some promos that are like that, and you're absolutely right. Some people get cooked. Real quick before we start our show, what is your favorite? What is your favorite promo?
Oh man, if I had to like really look one up, the pipe bomb is such an easy one to do. Steiner Mask such an easy one to do. But I love the promo of when the Miz, you got the famous the Friday night whatever that show was called, but the Miz telling Daniel Bryan how it was, where he's like, "I'm Intercontinental Champion. They need to
Hmm.
show me
Hmm.
respect. I never got hurt." That Miz promo will forever live run free in my head. I play it at least once a month. It's like favorites in my YouTube.
All right, man. I believe you. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and who might walk away the winner at WrestleMania. We're going to talk some John Cena, Cody Rhodes. We're going to talk about Gail Kim letting, she got fired or she walked on her terms. But before we get into all that, let's go ahead and start our show.
Four sides of the ring, four sides of the ring. Everybody out here got an opinion, your ego shall die in the ring. If the debate's getting heated, we heating, you know it's been fire in the ring. We them guys in the ring, leave with your pride in the sling. Four sides of the ring, four sides of the ring. Everybody out here got an opinion, your ego shall die in the ring. If the debate's getting heated, we heating, you know it's been fire in the ring. We them guys in the ring, leave with your pride in the sling. Four sides of the ring.
What is going on, Ringsiders? Your favorite faction is back. I am your host, Marcus Hernandez, the founder. I am alongside my guys, Nit Ram, the one that makes you say, "Aw, damn." He's not Nit Ram to Gargano tonight because we don't have Tommaso Ciano on, but we do have the bad guy of all bad guys, Brandy Savage. And we got a special guest, ladies and gentlemen. For the last few weeks, we've been in talks with Big Mo from 102 Jamz, who is a huge wrestling fan. He is a huge Knicks fan. So, ladies and gentlemen, with a further introduction. Mr. Big Mo's in the building. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good to finally be on here, man. Good to finally
Yes,
be
sir.
What's going on?
on. Good.
Welcome, Big Mo. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Four Sides of the Ring. Usually when we have a guest on, we love to ask them one simple question. Well, it's really two questions. But who is Big Mo and why does he love professional wrestling?
Well, I'm from New York, from Harlem. Been down here in the South of North Carolina, Greensboro, since 1996. Got in the radio in college at A&T, Aggie Pride.
Hell yeah.
How did I get into wrestling? My grandmother used to watch Ric Flair. And when Ric Flair wrestled, you had to shut the hell up. There was no talking. You couldn't say nothing. And if Ric Flair lost, my grandmother would be in the worst mood all day. Luckily, Ric Flair didn't lose a lot. But when he did, she was pissed. And so I would always go for like the Dusty Rhodes, or I'll go for Sting. Whoever could beat Ric Flair, that's who I wanted to win. And that's how I got into wrestling. And I've been a wrestling fan ever since. Thanks to my grandmother and Ric Flair. Woo.
Hell yeah. I was introduced to you through 102 Jamz, just driving around in the morning on my daytime job. And my first instinct was you congratulated John Cena on such a long career because he announced that he was done. This was his last run. And then you congratulated Jey Uso on winning the Royal Rumble. And I was just like, oh man, this guy seems like he knows what he's talking about when it comes to wrestling. We gotta have him on. We did have CDK on a few months back, and it was really awesome to talk to him. So I was like, well, let's see if maybe you might want to come on and hop with us too. So truly appreciate you doing this with us and coming to talk some wrestling. Do you have a favorite wrestler out there right now?
Favorite wrestler right now? Can you call The Rock still a wrestler or not? I know he wrestled last year at WrestleMania, but is he really a wrestler?
Part-time.
He's still getting pops, right?
He's still, that's what I'm saying. He's still doing bumps and stuff. If not, I'll go with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, my guy.
Yeah,
that's my guy.
You already know Roman Reigns. Who's your favorite wrestler of all time?
It's so hard to say who's my favorite of all time. There's been so many great wrestlers. Can I give you like my top three at least?
Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, Mount Rushmore. I do a Mount Rushmore, right? So I got Hulk Hogan in there. When he lost to Andre the Giant one time, I cried. Don't judge me. I was a kid. I got Hulk Hogan. I got The Rock. I got Stone Cold. And my grandmother would kill me if I did not put Ric Flair on there. So I got.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Four legends.
You know what's funny, man? I cried when Stone Cold ran over The Rock's car or limo with the monster truck. Yeah, I cried. It was like a Saturday rerun too.
I remember that. I personally think The Rock is the greatest promo person of all time. I think
absolutely
untouchable on the mic. That's how I've always.
That's a fact right there. That's a fact. Brandy, you wanted to touch up on the out of nowhere question of the week. Sir, do you think it's more memorable a 5-star promo or a 5-star match?
I do agree with Martin. Niram. I do believe it is more memorable, but I just wanted to say, man, I've been in the car with this dude a number of times. He's played that Miz promo a lot. A lot. And he plays a lot of Miz promos a lot. And I also wanted to do a quick shout out for my favorite promo is the Roman Reigns. This is my ring. This is my camera. That to me is like my favorite promo of all time.
That is also a good promo as well. What about you, Matt? Do you remember a 5-star match or a 5-star promo?
Well, my favorite match of all time is Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at the first WrestleMania. They wrestled. I think that's one of the greatest matches I've ever seen of all time.
Mm-hmm.
The best promo, the pipe bomb, like you said, is so legendary. The pipe bomb. But I'm gonna tell y'all who does great promos. I'm gonna tell you one of my favorite promos is MJF when he was spazzing out on Tony Khan. Yep. I thought he did a hell of a job. That
was a good promo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a good promo. Are you an AEW fan?
I'm not gonna say I'm an AEW fan, but when I'm bored, I will watch AEW. I think MJF is, he's everything on that program as far as on the mic.
100%, yeah.
Will Ospreay is dope as hell in the ring. Kenny Omega is dope as hell. The Young Bucks are dope. So they got some good wrestlers, man. I even like what's my man Swerve. I love Swerve.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think Swerve is coming to his own. I think his promo game got to get better, but his wrestling, and I love his wrestling skills. And my man, he just wrestled at the pay-per-view. Adam
Ricochet?
Page.
Adam Page.
Yeah, Adam Page. Yeah.
Adam, Hangman's a monster.
Hangman's, oh man, he's dope, and he's getting better on the mic too. So
Yes, sir.
you know, I watch AEW. Like I said, I watch AEW when I'm bored. You know what I mean? But I do like the Hurt Syndicate. I love Bobby Lashley. I think Bobby Lashley's phenomenal. I get a lot of praise. That boy, but he just don't have no mic. That's why he got MVP.
Yep.
Dope.
If our other co-host
does have
Huh?
the best theme song in wrestling. That's what Bobby has. The best theme song in wrestling.
You ain't lying.
We hurt people.
Yeah.
We hurt. I
Yo,
get hyped
dude,
every time.
I saw it today. I recorded it today. I played it back. They were actually doing the song with them, the crowd. We hurt people. I was like, oh man, it's starting to bubble now.
Yeah, they're starting to gather their attention the way they need to. We have another co-host by the name of Chana. If he was on with us, he would tell you that Bobby is not that guy anymore because he's a bit of an ageist that he believes after 45, you should just hang up your boots and call it.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, I mean, I think Adam Copeland and Edge should hang it up. But at the same time, and Moxley had a great storyline and some great matches. So
he's not the hugest fan of Chris Jericho right now either.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho should retire. He got to stop.
He got to go. Adam Copeland's making up for lost time. It makes sense, but Jericho got to go.
Be a manager. He's great on commentary. You do commentary, man.
Right.
Just stop.
That's all Nate Ram talks about.
Yeah. And then why does he have the Ring of Honor championship? I have no clue. Give it to somebody up and coming. Why are you giving it to Jericho? I don't understand.
He'll build. I think he's going to build somebody soon. You know what I mean? And then put that strap on a young guy who hopefully will take it to the moon and just rub off Jericho the right way.
He's good for that. Remember, he lost to Fandango at WrestleMania just to give him a push. So
yeah,
he'll
that's true.
That, you know,
that's true.
I respect Jericho for that, but he's still got to hang it up.
That's true. Speaking about WrestleMania, let's go ahead and jump into our show with our first topic tonight, fellas. My first question is: this is going to be a big triple threat match at WrestleMania, and I want to know who is going to win. Let's start with the thoughts of Brandy Savage.
Oh, that's easy. Seth freaking Rollins. Come on. It's just I don't even know if this is true, but I think like he's the youngest out of them, but he's just also like the only one who doesn't need a win. Like Seth does so much sacrificing for every single other superstar in WWE. It's only right just to reward the man with a win over the two top guys. And honestly, he's the best out of the three, in my opinion.
Wrestling wise?
Yeah, all of it. He's the best total package, in my opinion. Like,
okay,
not the best.
You know, Seth's my GOAT.
I know. I know that. I knew. I kind of figured you was gonna go Seth because I know Seth is your guy. Mo, how are you feeling? You got Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk. This looks like it's going to be a triple threat at WrestleMania. If it is, who do you think is going to take this match?
I'm going to tell you, I'm a big fan of CM Punk. I think CM Punk is cool. I think he's dope. Dope on the mic. I like Roman Reigns. Not Roman Reigns. I'm sorry. I like Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins is the top three and right now wrestling in the game. Period. You know what I'm saying? Like he can wrestle and he can do promo.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But guys, when has Roman Reigns lost at WrestleMania besides last year when he had help from everybody in the industry? Roman Reigns ain't losing this match, man. Some way, somehow, Roman Reigns gonna win this match.
I like that. That's a good point right there. You know, are we really gonna watch Roman go 0-2 back-to-back L's at WrestleMania? That's kind of diabolical if you really think about it. You know, CM Punk had his time last year. Seth was in the match that made Roman lose. We have Paul Heyman kind of in the middle between Roman and CM Punk. We don't know how that will go down, but we have about 4 weeks to build that up and see which way that's going to go. Nit Ram, how are you feeling about this triple threat? If it does happen, who do you think is going to take it?
I've been telling Brandy that I think Paul Heyman chooses Seth Rollins, and we get the swerve that no one expects coming. But recently, in my fantasy booking world, CM Punk said in a promo, "Neither one of you guys can beat me without the other," which makes me think we're gonna get some really bad double pin where Seth and Roman both pin Punk at the same time in some manner.
I feel like you would book something like that.
I'm not gonna lie, though, I wouldn't even be mad about that because like it just makes sense.
And it keeps
Like,
going on and on.
yeah, because now you could build that singles match.
I feel like if you do that though, you know what I mean. You're making CM Punk look like the ultimate guy though. It took two of your top guys to pin him at the same time, so a draw technically. I guess you could have another match, CM or Roman versus Seth at the Monday after Mania. You know what I mean, to see who really is the top guy. I just don't know. I like this. I like Seth Rollins. I like the Seth Rollins answers from Brandy because I feel like Roman and Punk have something bigger to accomplish with the story of Paul Heyman, right? So give Seth Rollins his moment, his time to shine at Mania. Give him that spotlight. Mania after Raw, go right into Roman, Punk, Paul Heyman. But Mo brought up a great point too. Like Roman lost last year. Are we gonna watch him lose again? 0-2, go back-to-back L's at Mania. That's kind of
Who else we watched lose last year at Mania?
That raises an eyebrow.
But I do like
He lost 2 matches at Mania. I'm just saying, last year, Seth Rollins. We're gonna watch him go 0-3 in the last 2 Manias.
But I do like that.
You're right.
With Paul Heyman, though. I really like that.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah. We have Paul Heyman in the mix, and they ran. I wasn't even thinking about Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman as a pair. You know what I mean? The architect and probably the greatest manager to ever do it. So that's a dangerous combo right there.
It's a dangerous combo, and there's nobody else. I can only think of one other person like worth being a Paul Heyman guy on the roster right now. Quick shout, Braun Breaker. Quick shout,
Braun Breaker. Yep, that's true, Braun Breaker. But is Seth Rollins a Paul Heyman guy? We might have to come back to that. We might have to come back to that.
I like it though.
And talk about it. Yeah, we definitely might have to come back and talk about it. I love that everybody has a different answer to the take. Brandy and Nate Ram seems like they're going towards Seth Rollins. Mo and I seems like, we're holding up our ones for the tribal chief. He's got his wise man behind him. Everything says Roman should win this match. Can't lose, can't go back-to-back L's at Mania. Because, what does that say for the tribal chief?
Yeah, he's the tribal chief of his family, but not the WWE. As much as I love Roman, man, but I every time I see Cody with that belt, I just get sick to my stomach. I miss the good old days.
I think it's time to put Roman back as a champion. Honestly,
I think so too, man.
I like Cody, but I'm good with Cody as a champion.
I like the idea. Like, I think it's too soon right now, but like the idea of Roman being like the next Brock, where it's like he's always a surprise opponent who puts the next town over, which is like one of the reasons why I do kind of put him on the level of like getting over on like putting Seth Rollins over and seeing Punk doing the same. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna talk a little bit of Cody Rhodes and John Cena here later on the show, but we have this upcoming Monday we have a match: Rhea Ripley, Io Sky for the Women's World Championship. Personally, I think Bianca Belair is somehow, some way gonna mess this up, and we are gonna get a triple threat. My question to both of you, while Ram's taking a small break: should we get a triple threat match for the Women's World Title, or do you just want to see a one-on-one? What are your thoughts, Mo?
I really wanted to see Rhea and Belair. I really wanted to see both of them at WrestleMania. I like Io. I think Io's dope as hell in the ring. But I just wanted to see them too. But you are going to get your triple threat match. And I for some reason, I think Io's going to win. I don't think they're going to give her the belt that quick. Triple H loves her. Loves her.
Oh, 100%. And I definitely agree with you. If we do get a triple threat match, I do think that's Io Sky. I think Rhea and Bianca are just at a point of their careers right now where they're bigger than the titles. They don't need the titles around them. Anything that they're in, you're going to be invested in because it's Rhea Ripley and it's Bianca Belair. So yeah, I just truly think if it was a triple threat, I'm with you on that. Io Sky winning and retaining at Mania. Brandy Savage, how are you feeling?
So I don't think we need a triple threat. I've been wanting this match between Rhea and Bianca since the Elimination Chamber
Mhm.
when they were all doing that. Even I think Raquel was in that situation too. But it's just like you got those two powerhouses that were always meant to collide. You always kept them on separate shows. Now we have the opportunity to finally pull the trigger on what can be one of the greatest women's matches because it's two of the top women of like all time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just we decided to throw Io in there, and I can't complain because I love Io. She's literally one of my favorite wrestlers. It's just one of those situations where it's like it feels like we're not getting everything we can because, or I've been saying this whole road is just like we're holding cards, and I kind of hate that. You have the Roman Seth with CM Punk, you have the Bianca Rhea with Io Sky.
Mm-hmm.
You just feel like maybe we could have just had those singles matches this year. I mean, I understand the Bianca Rhea, they're young. The Seth and Roman, I feel like they're getting a little up there. We should just be pulling this trigger ASAP. They probably want to make it the main event though, so I kind of understand that. But
Yeah.
when it comes to like Io, man, like yeah, I think it's gonna be a triple threat because like that would be the cruelest thing in the world to book that without Io at this point. Like that would be foul as hell. But I do think Io goes over. And I think it's because it's like one of the three things where when you actually think back on the last 2 years on the champions, out of the three, I do think Io had the best run.
Agreed. Yeah. I think what Io does is just she just makes things interesting, and that's because of her style of wrestling.
Yeah,
She's
absolutely.
not. I feel like women right now are at a standpoint where you're either this huge powerhouse or you're like just in that mid range. We don't really have that high flyer no more. And she is that high flyer that also still has that strong style. You know what I mean? Like when she's gonna hit, she's gonna hit, you know, and she's gonna show that on television. I do like your take on the one-on-one because one, you're right. Why are we gonna have 5 triple threat matches on this WrestleMania card? You know what I mean? That'll get stale, that'll get boring. But also at the same time, it's kind of like the Seth Roman and CM Punk thing, right? You can't have one of those guys not be part of the show. You know what I mean? So you want all 3 of those guys to be part of the show, and vice versa for the women right now. You cannot have Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? But Io Sky Bianca Belair is definitely gonna, you know, as The Rock would say, you know, put asses in seats. But then you're leaving out one of your, not even one, your top woman on your roster right now. You know what I mean? That's who people truly want to see in a wrestling ring. So if you swap her out, then yeah, 100%. That's a slap in the face to Io Sky if she puts over Rhea Ripley next week, just so you get Rhea Bianca, and then you're just sweeping Io off to the side. I don't think the IWC is going to take that lightly at all. And you can't. I mean, you can't write off Bianca. She won the Elimination Chamber,
and there's nowhere else to put Io if she's not in this match.
Exactly right. Yeah, Damage Control. Dakota Kai seems like she's on to better, you know, or I'm not gonna say better things, but she's chasing Lyra Valkyria. Who knows when my girl Asuka's gonna come back? So and Bailey, you know, is doing her thing too. So she doesn't really have.
When does Kairi Sane return?
Kairi Sane too. Yeah, she's out on injury too. So just her whole faction is gone. And like Mo said, what are you gonna do with her? People want to see her. So I think triple threat is probably the best way. Maybe we get some kind of stipulation for the match, so it's just not a regular triple threat match. Maybe a table, a ladder. Throw something in there to make the match more interesting, but also gives, I want to say, the edge and the push towards Io. So it's a believable win, right? Because I think that's everybody's thing. If it's a triple threat and Io wins, it's not going to be believable because Bianca and Rhea are these powerhouse women. I get that. So if we put the right stipulation in it, then you could write that way for Io to win properly, and the IWC won't flip out about it like, oh, that's not right. How could that even happen? So it'd be interesting. Nate Ram's back. Nate Ram, how are you feeling about the Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair situation? Do you think this should be a triple threat match? If it does become a triple threat match, we all know Monday we have a one-on-one between Io Sky, Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. But the 3 of us agree that it's going to be a triple threat.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be. So Bianca's undefeated at WrestleMania, and I think they kind of want to keep that going. I think Io's there to eat the pin, so I think that Monday night thing is for a DQ finish, as it's probably going to be for them to just be like, fine, it is a triple threat, and Bianca ends up winning after all, because Io can beat Rhea, Bianca can't beat Rhea, Rhea can beat Bianca, but Bianca don't lose at Mania, so Bianca pins Io. It's the way I see it going.
Oh yeah, you brought up Bianca's little streak that she's got going on, undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Low key don't like that she has that because, Taker and all, but I don't mind that she has it at the same time. But I think she might be biting her words. I think she's gonna take her first L at Mania this year. Who knows? We got 4 weeks to plan it out, 4 weeks to build it. These women are building this story very strong. I'm very into the Women's World Championship and the 3 women that are a part of it right now. I've always said Io Sky needs to be in the forefront of the main roster. Well, not the main roster, of the main title, and she's there. She's killing it as she always is. So we'll see as we get there. My next question for Mania is Street Profits. Do we think they will walk out tag team champions at WrestleMania? Big Mo, what are your thoughts?
Who are they facing?
Hasn't been announced yet. I'm pretty sure it might be Motor City Machine Guns. I'm hoping that it's pretty deadly, and we move in towards that way. But I think it's going to be Motor City Machine Guns.
If it's Motor City, you might as well just keep it on the Street Profits. Pretty Deadly, slowly but surely though, are starting to get a buzz.
Mm-hmm.
If they were smart and they faced off at WrestleMania, you'll put it on Pretty Deadly right now. But besides them, I don't see nobody else beating them right now.
I agree with you too. I think it's time for the Yes Boys to get some gold around their waist because it's been a minute. We've talked about it on the show before. Injuries did help hold them back, and injuries do suck at this sport, especially when it happens because it writes you off for a long time. And sometimes, I don't want to say you get forgotten, but the storyline continues without you. So we have to find a way to put you back in. Nitram, what are your thoughts on the Street Profits? Do you think they will walk out of WrestleMania as tag team champions?
Yeah, so pretty much like Mo was saying, if it's not Pretty Deadly, I mean, we'll just leave it on them. Tag team division is sad. Unfortunately, it's sad right now. It sucks because it's the best type of wrestling there is. I stand 10 toes down. Tag wrestling can be the best wrestling there is. But man, this is sad. I thought Fraxion would be called up by now, but it looks like they're gonna go into Stand and Deliver and fight the Hardys. Is what it looks like. So yeah, no, leave it on the Street Profits. At least some kind of personalities. But if it's the Yes Boys, give it to the Yes Boys because those are my guys.
Yeah. Once again, definitely. I feel like Pretty Deadly is the only choice, the only route we could go, especially with the Street Profits turning heel, right? We don't really, I don't want to say Motor City Machine Guns are faces because we truly don't know what they are. I feel like they're just there. They're tweeners. You know what I mean? They just want to have really good wrestling matches. They could do that with the Street Profits, but they're just not interesting enough in the WWE. And I don't know why that is because they're a legendary tag team. They've done what all tag teams wish they could do. Pretty Deadly is fresh. If they do win it, they kind of they won every single tag team title that WWE has to offer. NXT, UK NXT, just all they need is a main roster one. So if it's SmackDown or Raw, it truly doesn't matter as long as they get one of the sets. Bernie Savage, how are you feeling about the Street Profits? Do you think they will walk out of WrestleMania tag team champions?
I think what you just said about the Pretty Deadly, I couldn't say any better myself. Like, I think if they're going up against Pretty Deadly, I think that's the perfect opportunity. If anything, that's the reason why you turn the Street Profits heel, is because in the beginning, when the Pretty Deadly first came out, they were heels. But now it's time to give it to them as baby faces with the crowd behind them. And who better than to make them pop even more than the Street Profits as heels? I think it's a good way of like getting them over some more. It better be the Yes Boys, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some type of stipulation match, whether it be ladder, triple threat, you know what I mean? One of those things, especially with the Street Profits in it. Them boys, they love to dance in those type of fights, so I think that'll be perfect for them.
Sure. Fellas, we don't know all the matches that have been announced yet. We only know some matches that have been announced for WrestleMania. But before we get into a small break, my questions to you is you got to dig into your little fantasy booking here. is what match would you like to see at WrestleMania that isn't booked yet? Let's start with Brady Savage.
Am I allowed to use like people in matches already?
No. So you
Okay.
can't use Seth Roman or CM Punk. You can't use Io Sky, Rhea Bianca. I'm sure the Street Profits haven't been announced yet, but I'm sure they'll have a match. But if you want to use the Street Profits, of course, I do mean.
It's funny. It's like one of those situations where I feel like I can name this match right now, and I feel like this match could have got over more than the World Heavyweight Championship at the moment, where that's at, as stale as that is. I feel like if you would have did a blood feud between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, you could have went somewhere with that. And that's probably the match I probably would have booked, just because you can't. I don't feel like it's right to have those two off your Mania card, especially after the year they've had.
Okay, Drew Damian Priest, I like that. Nivram, what are you thinking?
6-man IC match. Breaker, Dom, Finn, Sheamus, Ludwig, Penta.
Okay, ladder match.
I don't care as long as Sheamus wins. I can't see Sheamus climbing the ladder though. this whole year up until now has been Sheamus needs the IC title, and I haven't seen him in a couple weeks. But they've been building this multi-man people in and out this division. It's got to be a multi-man match. It's got to be Sheamus winning.
Okay. Mo, what would be your match if you could book one for WrestleMania?
So I was going to say a tag team match. I was going to say the Judgment Day, Finn and Dom. Nobody wants to see Carlito against Penta and his brother Ray Phoenix.
Ooh.
I would love to see that at WrestleMania.
Ray Phoenix debut would be awesome at WrestleMania too.
Him and his brother is dope as hell.
Yeah, that's actually a good match right there. If I had to choose one, I was also thinking IC title, but I have a fatal 4-way with Finn, Penta, Dom, and Braun Breaker. I know you want your guy Sheamus to finally do it and win all the titles in WWE, but like if China was here, he'd say he's too old, man. It's too old to do things like that.
Burger after burger.
Let's take a small break and then we'll move into what's happening on X.
Dive into a world where every pinfall, every suplex, and every promo is celebrated in fashion. From the legendary 3-count trivia to the iconic bad guy wrestling, we've got the latest gear to elevate your wrestling wardrobe. Show off your passion for the squared circle. It's not just clothing, it's a lifestyle. Come shop with us and unleash your inner champion at foursidesofthering.com. That's foursidesofthering.com.
foursidesofthering.com. Cop all of our latest merch made by the one and only Brady Savage. We have a what's happening on X this week. Nit Ram, why don't you tell us what is going on X, my guy?
All right, guys. I'm sure my guys have seen it. Mo, have you seen the comments from Jey Uso recently?
No, what happened?
So Jey Uso pretty much said there are tens of guys who are better wrestlers than him, but they don't got what he got, which is the fan base. And at the end of the day, that's pretty much all that matters. So I went on Twitter and I said, honestly, being over with the fans is more important than being a good wrestler. Because I don't know if you noticed, but Jey Uso get a lot of hate for not being a good wrestler, which is crazy because he is. But Twitter don't like Jey Uso. And man, did people come at me. You know, we had people who brought it up to make it seem like it was like a movie thing. They were just like, oh, so being a better actor should matter more than movie tickets. And you know what? I don't know how you feel about it, but it does, right? The Rock's the #1 actor in the world, but he ain't no Daniel Day-Lewis. But The Rock makes box office hits. So in my opinion, yeah, being over with the fans is more important than being a good wrestler in that matter. But then I had someone come in and they gave me a full-blown explanation about why if you're not a good wrestler, you can't be over. And I mean, you can see it on the screen. It's a full-on, breakup text message of why this is important. It was real long lanes. They used Daniel Bryan as an example, which I think is a cheap shot. because everyone loves to be, well, Daniel Bryan was so good and we cheered for him. Yes, we did. We did it for Kofi as well. We know when someone's good and they deserve one shot. But at the end of the day, do you remember Enzo Amore?
Of course. Great
Enzo
on the
Amore
ring.
was
Terrible in the ring. Great on the mic.
Terrible.
Yeah.
He was terrible. But
Mhm.
the man was main eventing Monday Night Raw, main eventing pay-per-views, and was cruiserweight champion over a cruiserweight class that was at its time the best there could be. So I want to ask you as our guest, where do you stand on this? Is being over more important than being the best wrestler?
So, and this is a great question. So, remember back in the day, WWE used to be called WWF, right? World Wrestling Federation. So Vince McMahon was like, you know what? We're not wrestlers, we're entertainers. So, yeah, AJ Styles, I think, is one of the best in the ring. Terrible on the mic. Not a great entertainer whatsoever. Great in the ring, though, you know? Daniel Bryan, before he got big, great in the ring. Terrible on the mic. Until you could entertain people on that microphone. Prime example, The Rock, when he first got into business. Terrible on the mic. And then he went away for a while and trained, got better in the ring, but guess what? He got better on the mic. With that Nation of Domination, when he joined them, took off. Because then you start seeing the real side of The Rock. He got more entertaining. Entertainers bring in the big bucks, man. Period. I mean, Stone Cold. I mean, I don't think Stone Cold's the greatest in the ring. But, man, when you give that man a mic, what? Man, please. Like, if you, and it's the same thing with radio, man. Like, I can't be on the radio if I'm not entertaining. If I'm not entertaining you, you're going to switch and find something else to entertain yourself. So it's always, you always have to find, especially in this day and age, if you're not entertaining, why we listening to it? Why we watching it? You know?
100%.
Another guy, what's his name? Remember Mr. Kennedy?
Mr.
Damn near almost killed every wrestler he was in the ring with. But he was entertaining as hell on that mic, though. I mean, Randy Orton had to get that man fired because he almost got him killed. But he was great on the mic, man. So if your mic skills ain't good, man, like if you're not entertaining, I just like, all right, well, I'll just watch your matches and maybe, hopefully, I can stay up and not fall asleep in your matches. But you got to be able to talk.
It's just such an it's an interesting take, right? First of all, shouts out to Fightful Wrestling for posting this, and shouts out to Sam Roberts for doing it on the Raw recap with Jey Uso. But it's just like people want to say you have to have this balance, right? We don't always walk into these in wrestling. There's never a balance. You're good at one or good at the other, and if you do have that wrestler that can find that balance, they're a gold nugget. You know what I mean? They're a diamond in a rock. So, like, you know, you have your Kurt Angles who could spit on the mic and give you a great wrestling match. You know what I mean? You have guys like The Miz that could do great things on the mic and still give you a good wrestling match. The Sinister File says, you know, what if Enzo was like Daniel Bryan? It's just like Enzo was never going to be that because he knew what he needed to focus on, and that was the mic. He knew that would get him over. At the same time, this comes back to like our Out of Nowhere question of the week. You know what I mean? You're going to remember that promo more than you're going to remember that match. And to be honest, you might remember the botches that people give you or the bad match that people may give you instead of the good match that people give you, right? Like, how many times have we heard people say or even come on the show or Nitram defending AEW? Oh, like AEW, they don't have nobody who can cut promos. They're just wrestlers. Yes, we know that. Kenny Omega is a great wrestler. He is terrible on the mic. He doesn't cut promos. He doesn't cut them well, I should say. Another is Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay doesn't cut promos well, but when he's in that ring, my eyes are glued to the television because I know he's going to give me a phenomenal match. And through that, you get some type of entertainment. But to say you have to have a balance in wrestling is kind of crazy because you can either have one or the other. And if you get that balance, then that guy we consider, oh, that guy's a great. You know what I mean? Mo gave a lot of great examples of guys that were terrible in ring and perfect on the mic. John Cena is another one, and he's a GOAT. You know what I mean? He's one of my GOATs. I think he's a living legend. You know what I mean? Walking Hall of Famer. The man in ring has like 5 moves. We've all said it.
That's it.
But you give him a microphone, he's cooking. He's cooking anybody in the ring that he's across from. So I kind of agree with you, Nivram. I think being better on the mic in a WWE universe is better than having good in-ring talent.
And I mean, just to quickly add it, it's also one of those things where there are legendary wrestlers who would give you the same movesets, but change their character with the same moveset, and you didn't get behind them until they changed that character. I think The Rock is one of those.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock was coming in. The Rock came in with the same moveset, changed his character. People went over. Stone Cold was a ring technician. You know, he was the ring master, and he cut a promo, changed his thing. But the person I think most about it, like who cut promos and became legendary, would be Bray Wyatt. Because when you look at Bray Wyatt's career, Bray wrestled exactly the same from when he was Husky Harris all the way to when he was The Fiend, with little tweaks in his moveset. But what makes him the legendary status that he was his character and promo skill. Because I can tell you more Bray promo videos than I can tell you Bray matches.
That Vince McMahon dance, that shit was hilarious. I love that. That Vince McMahon,
I mean,
Bray Wyatt Vince, that was great.
People hate on it, but his WrestleMania match with John Cena was like a cinematic masterpiece.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
You know, so we'll see. Let's move on, fellas. We were just talking about John Cena and how he was good on the mic, but I want to know: do you think creative is holding John Cena back when it comes to this promo battle he's having with Cody Rhodes? Let's start with Nitram.
Yeah, they're scared, man. They're scared. They're scared to let Cena be Cena. Because there's times where a good promo can go out there, but someone who can improvise a really great promo will make someone, even the best, look like trash. Cena did it to Roman. Cena buried Austin Theory, and I mean, now we're looking at it like it's kind of true. Cena's done it to multiple people. He did it to The Rock. You know what I mean? Like, Cena is arguably one of the greatest promos of all time. Not because he can go out there and, you know, read a script. It's because he can go out there, feel a room, and make you have to switch up your entire presentation. You slip up with Cena, and he's gonna make you feel bad for slipping up. He's not gonna be that generous. Oh man, it's okay. We all have mistakes. No, you slip up with me, you wasn't ready, and he's gonna call you out for not being ready. And I think they're scared that Cody can't do it. I think they're generally worried that Cena can take a promo so far that we actually might sit there and boo Cody because it's a possibility.
That's a good take right there. Brittany, how are you feeling about John Cena and creative? Do you think they're holding him back on these promo battles with Cody Rhodes?
I absolutely do think they're holding him back. I feel like even 2 weeks ago when Cody Rhodes called him a bitch, it was like you could just see it in John Cena's face. Like, all right, buddy. Oh, wow, the things I could say about you, Stardust. Ooh, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's so ready. But he's clearly holding back, and you could tell he's holding back just because he's not talking.
Right.
But maybe that's the character as well. You know what I mean?
Hey, that's the heel move.
Yeah.
Mo, how are you feeling about this new heel John Cena? And do you think creative is holding him back right now against these promo battles with Cody Rhodes?
I mean, yeah, everything y'all said, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm trying to figure out why this is happening. Like, because John Cena can't cook Cody, but it seems like creative is like, nah, you're not going to do that. Like, why? Why is something going to happen at WrestleMania where we're going to just see something spectacular where Cody drops the belt to Cena? It's because of The Rock or Travis Scott, and then Cena gets on the mic and starts just going crazy. Like, it's got to be a reason, because the John Cena that just standing in the ring, just talking about the crowd, whatever. He's not talking about Cody at all. It's like something's going on, but I can't put my finger on it. I don't understand it. Doesn't make sense to me.
I agree with all three of you. I thought it was a little weird too. Like Brittany said, you know, Cody, they gave Cody the balls and called that man a bitch and then walked out the ring. And John Cena's just standing there like, you really just said that, bro? That wasn't on the script, but you just like, okay. You know, and then comes out the following week after when John Cena's just trying to cut his own promo, and it comes out and calls him out again. And it's just like, okay. And I'm like, all right, John, say something. Like you walked away, say something, John. But I agree with all of you. I feel like creative's holding him back because if they allow John Cena to be John Cena and does his magic on that mic, like Nate Ram said, maybe we're going to boo Cody. Maybe we are going to want John Cena to win a 17-time world championship. You know what I mean? So maybe we do want that, but creators like, well, we can't have that yet. And I think at the last week or at the last second, John Cena's finally going to say the words he's been wanting to say. And if he doesn't say it, then I don't know. What was the whole point of just having him do all this? Like turn heel because of us? You know, or were you really turning heel because you do want to beat Ric Flair's record? You do want to be the greatest of all time. You want that title. And the only way to do that is, I guess, to pretend you're turning your back on us for the better good, because we all know we want Cody to drop this belt.
You know, and the first time, I think it was last week when John Cena came out, I was expecting to hear his old song, Word Life. Like, I just thought that was going to be the heel turn. He was going to go back to that, but he came out to the same song, and I'm like, I don't know.
And yeah, I don't know what he was talking about either, because I love the spinner belt. Yeah. You know what I mean? I have the old Ric Flair heavyweight championship hanging up, but the spinner belt wasn't a toy, John Cena. That was a dope belt, my guy. You did something really cool with that thing, and I think, you know, it was the first championship that WWE had on their hands that was actually bigger than the World Heavyweight Championship. You know, everybody wanted to hold the big gold, but then John Cena brought that spinner out. It was like, ooh, I want to hold that instead because that looks cool. So we'll see. Let's talk about the World Heavyweight Championship. We have a match, WrestleMania coming up, Gunther, Jey Uso, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Jimmy Uso and the things he said to his brother. Can I say baby brother? Nah, this is older brother.
This is
2
crazy.
minutes. It's 2 minutes. I'm a Jimmy guy. I'm not a Jay guy, but I do root on for Jay. Was Jimmy right about Jay? Does Jey Uso need to dig back into his main event, Jey Uso aura? Let's start with
Mo. Yeah, I mean, I've never seen Jay messed up the way he did when he was going over the top and tripped and then almost killed his damn self, and then the whole slip when he was about to spear Gunther this week. I mean, I don't think that one over the top was scripted. I think he just messed up. But I do think the slip when he was about to beat Gunther is a mess up. But I think this is all a play because he's going to win the championship at WrestleMania. It's just, you know, they're just trying to build this story up, but everybody knows he ain't going to win the Royal Rumble and lose at WrestleMania. Not Jay, not this year. He's too high. So, yeah, it's just all storyline. And we're all going to be doing a yeet and keep it a pushing.
How you feeling, Brandon? You think Jimmy was right about Jay? You think he needs to tap back into his main event, Jey Uso aura?
I mean, sometimes, man, you just need to hear some kind words from your brother. You need to know he has your back. You know what I mean? Like, I think the slap meant more to Jay than the words, man. I think it was just like that I got somebody on my side for real. But like, yes, Jey Uso definitely needed to go back to main event Jey Uso. The main event Jey Uso that left the bloodline and was cooking week after week on those promos. Like, we needed that guy. And he's been doing it. He's back to it. I was like, last time we seen him, I think it was Germany with the graffiti and stuff. He's walking to the ring, you know. It was a little Jacob Fatu-esque, but realistically, like, Jay was doing that first. Like, Jay was the guy when he was cutting those passionate promos about leaving the bloodline. He was hooked. And that's what got us here. He got away from it a little bit. But at the same time, it's the biggest fanfare we've had in years. It's the Yes movement. It's that type of wave. So we have to ride that wave. Like, I understand them getting behind that. But yeah, we need Jey Uso. And also, like, to get to the bots, like, even, you know, how, like, he slipped this week. I feel like that one might have been, like, scripted. But, like, I feel like there might have been truth in the first botch about him being, like, in his head about the fans being so mixy, about seeing mixed reviews. He might be in his bag. So, like, I think there was truth in that, and they decided to bring that to screen with the scripted botch, and then to, like, install some confidence from him with Jimmy and stuff. So I do think that was great for character development in that sense. Like, that was what Jay needed. Because I feel like now, you know, we've been on the road to WrestleMania, but now, like, everybody, now that we're 4 weeks away, you could tell Bianca, you could tell Jay, everybody's like, we're here. Like, we are on it. We are approaching it. And they're starting to take it more serious. All the feuds are starting to get a little more serious. So, yeah, I think this is exactly what Jay needed.
Yeah, next Monday is going to be kind of crazy. You brought up the slap. That was a crazy slap to the face. Very disrespectful to the World Heavyweight Championship. I was hyped for it. I was like, yeah, Jimmy.
Yes.
And then
I know you were hyped.
And then I just like I was like, ooh, that was a bad move though, because Gunther is going to probably rip your jersey off next week, and he's going to make your chest look like Bryan Danielson's chest at the Royal Rumble when he came back for the first time. Remember, he just like the hand welt. It's going to be over for Jimmy next week on Monday Night Raw. His chest he'll probably catch an asthma attack, but it's going to be crazy. Nitram, how are you feeling about Jey Uso? Do you think Jimmy was right? Do you think he needs to tap back into this main event Jey Uso aura? As we know, Mo doesn't know. You think of Jey Uso just as a tag team wrestler. So how do you feel about this situation?
And let's start off by saying, what a tag team match he had with his tag team partner. Am I right? Wasn't that great? Thing is, and I feel like everyone is like, so, oh yeah, that was such a great brother moment. I don't trust Jimmy. Still don't trust him. I don't trust him, man. I just don't. I don't think he's in it for his brother's inner good. I think he thinks he can't beat Walter, but he thinks he could beat his brother. I think he's still salty. I don't trust Jimmy. I think Jey wins the title. He holds it up. His brother comes out. He hugs him. He turns around, and his brother super kicks him in the face. I don't trust Jimmy at all. I think this is fake motivation.
Okay.
Also, I want to pinpoint, Brendan, you said that a little aggressive. I need Brendan's brother to call him and give him some brotherly advice and hype him up. That's what Brendan needs.
Nah, but honestly, this is what I was saying like last week or the week before. Like when Jey wins, this is why we're still in the 6th inning of the Bloodline story. There's so much intrigue and like interest, in my opinion, like in the Jimmy Uso, in the Solo, in all those people approaching Jey, like, oh, you think you top dog now? You the champ? Let's see, run it with me real quick. What's up? And I think that will go like I said, we're in the 6th inning.
It's actually interesting that you bring up the Bloodline too, because there's so much going on with the Bloodline that's actually not included. Like, it's not really about the Bloodline, right? The closest we have to the Bloodline right now is Jacob and Solo just battling it out, right? That seems like they're going to battle it out, right? You have Roman trying to figure out his wise man with CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Jay's over here doing his own thing, trying to capture World Heavyweight title. And then Jimmy is kind of just floating around, as Jimmy does. I do think Jimmy should be a part of this United States storyline, and that should be his main focus. It's probably trying to grab that title from LA Knight. Looks like they're not going to go with that. It looks like he is going to be a hype man for his brother. So we'll see how that goes. Nick is in the chat right now. He said Gunther is going to make Jimmy bleed from his chest. And he said it kind of sounded personal from you, Brandon.
Why is everybody saying this?
Mark, also, don't forget the John Cena storyline is Bloodline storyline. This has to do with The Rock. That's Bloodline.
There you go. That's facts.
That's the Bloodline attachment.
Anything Cody does is part of the Bloodline at this point.
That's very true. Yeah, that's very true.
Cody sneezed, and he's like, "Oh man, Bloodline."
Let's move on to a gimmick that you're either liking it or you're not liking it, and there's reasons why. So I want to know what the three of you think. But are we liking the El Americano gimmick, the El Grande Americano gimmick, from what seems to be Chad Gable? I guess no one knows, but we're not going to speculate around here because we don't do that.
Yeah, doctor's note.
Let's start.
It was legit. Adam Pearce said it was legit.
I think it's legit, man. And first of all, that promo was awesome. Right? that promo was awesome. Yeah.
The little vignette with the old school vignette.
Yeah, that was great.
They took his head on other luchadors, and he was like shaking other luchadors' hand. I thought it was hilarious. But let's start. Mo, are you liking the El Grande Americano gimmick?
Oh yeah, keep it going. Give me a new promo like he did Monday, and keep this thing pushing. I'm with it 110%. Keep going.
Ram, are you liking the El Grande Americano gimmick? Oh man, I love this. I love this a lot more than I love what they do at most luchadors. I mean, this is great. You know what I mean? WWE sucks at booking luchadors, but man, when they make one, it's great.
Yo, Rey Mysterio's face after the promo went off was great. Like, you gotta keep it going, man. You can't stop now.
Not to mention is like they actually gave Shine to actual luchador history. They were like with legends like El Santo, Blue Demon, and I was like, "Oh, look at them naming real luchadors." They were like, one has been training since a child. I was like, "Oh, this is great." From the Gulf of America.
The Gulf of America sent me off the couch.
Yes.
Brandy Savage, it seems like you're liking the gimmick. Are you liking the El Grande Americano gimmick?
Man, I love El Grande Americano. I just want to see what Chad Gable has to say after seeing this guy stole his whole moveset. Like, you gonna let that guy rock? He stole your whole moveset. He got to address that.
That does have to be addressed. I'm with you guys. It's like we've been saying our the entire time we started this podcast, but like Mo said it best earlier in the show. This is entertainment. That is what the WWE does. They entertain us as fans. And this gimmick is entertaining. It's hilarious that they are trying to even say he's the greatest luchador to ever do it. How he has a double identity now with you guys don't say it's you guys are not saying it's Chad Gable. I'm trying to agree with Michael Cole here. I think it is Chad Gable. But the moveset is hilarious. He didn't change not one moveset. There's not one lucha move in his entire thing, which I think is hilarious.
He did the ankle lock, bro. Luchador did the ankle lock. Come on, man.
He did the three amigos. He did the three Germans.
Great.
To be fair, he did a very sloppy Hurricane Rana.
Yes.
It was very sloppy. It was very sloppy. But no, I do love this gimmick. I think it's hilarious. I think it's great. It's the Gulf America, like Brandy said, that set me off. I was just like, we really showed this on national television. Is that what we're doing? And then, just throwing him in the vignette, taking his face and throwing it on other luchadors, saying that he's been doing this for so long. By this point, you think the guy's like 80 years old. You know what I mean? For as long as he's been around. So
legends never die.
Yeah, legends never die, 100%. But it sounds like all of us here are liking the El Grande Americano gimmick. So if it isn't Chad Gable, whoever it is, keep it up. You're entertaining us. You're as fans. We love it. We think it's hilarious. And just don't stop,
bro. Whenever back in the day they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with a solution, somehow it just ended up being Hornswoggle.
Yeah, Hornswoggle.
Listen, if it is Chad Gable, he's really adopted the luchador magic, because he's proven time and time again it wasn't him.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some magic there. So
that's very true, fellas. Last week, Mo, we had we announced our Four Sides Illustrated, and we did a top 25 women wrestling currently right now. And on NXT, there's a woman wrestling. She is the NXT champion. She's also the North American champion. She's a dual champ, first ever dual champ. And we ranked her at 12. She didn't make our top 10, but I want to know, should she be a top 10? Did we underrank Stephanie Valkyrie?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. 12 is a good spot. Brandy, what are you thinking?
I mean, to be fair, in the picture, she's only holding one belt. And then, so it's like, yeah, at the time, we rated her right where she should have been. I think 12 was a good spot for her. She might be a little higher now. I forget where Roxanne was rated on the list, but I might put her around there.
Okay.
Because she's now having a better year than Roxanne.
I mean, no, I don't think we ranked her too low. I think her being on NXT was just too bad. Like,
yeah.
she's ahead of NXT by miles. And you watch this Tuesday, she's the first woman to do history, or the first wrestler to do history, in fact. And it makes me think, like, they're giving all this to this one person, but they didn't make it a special occasion. So clearly, I think she's bound to get called up real quick. I think she's a Raw after Mania instant call up.
Okay.
But she did her history, man. She first woman to hold both belts, first wrestler ever to defend 2 titles on one show. And she's always gonna have that. So yeah, I mean, next year when we rank her, she's probably top 6.
Yep.
Well, question, guys: is she the first one with 2 titles in NXT? I thought Mandy didn't. Mandy.
So
do
Mandy unified. She didn't technically win 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they don't consider that. It's like she's technically what Keith Lee did. I'm so happy she didn't fake it the way Keith Lee did it. But also, yeah, she's the first wrestler ever in WWE history, and I guess that includes WCW because they brought up Booker T when they brought it up, to hold 2 titles and defend both titles successfully in the same night. No wrestler has ever done it before.
And that's good graces. You know what I mean? And just to recap, also for Mo as well, sir, our top 10, I'm just going to name our top 10. Number 1 was Timeless Toni Storm. We all just thought she had a fabulous.
Hey, that was a good one.
Yeah,
Yep.
she's number 1. Number 2 was Rhea Ripley. Number 3 was Liv Morgan. Number 4 was Io Sky, and number 5 was Bianca Belair. And then the bottom of the 10 were Charlotte Flair at 6, Jordynne Grace at 7, Bayley at number 8, Mercedes Moné at number 9, and then 10 we had a tie between Athena, who is the ROH Women's Champion, and Roxanne Perez. So I do think we ranked her properly. But after watching both her matches on NXT this previous week, and then just hearing all the history, I had to sit there and think, did we underrank her? But I think 12 is a good spot. She made top 15, and like Nick Ram said, when we come back to this next year and we rank our women's for National Women's History Month, maybe she'll be up there. You know, maybe she might be a top 5.
Yeah, I don't think she's better than Roxanne Perez though.
No, yeah, Roxanne has had a great year.
Yeah, I don't see that.
No, it's getting there. We're still in the year, you know. So it's like, yes, Roxanne had a better year up to this point, but then Stephanie wins the double champ 2 nights later after that. 2 weeks later after that list was made. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, we would have probably ranked her higher.
So I saw on your list you had Tiffany Stratton at 15. Y'all don't like her at all, huh?
You saw that, right? Isn't that kind of crazy?
So it was. Nick Ram, explain to Mo real quick what was the point system that you had for us.
So pretty much, I told the guys rank them 1 through 25, with your 1 getting 25 points and your 25th getting 1 point. And I made sure the guys did not talk about the list until I got them, because you know how people are. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, well, how do you feel about this girl?" And you're like, "Oh man, I forgot to put her on my list." And then you start going through your list, taking out somebody, swapping it. So there were people who generally just forgot Tiffany Stratton on our thing. So she got like 3 votes, and they were high up votes, but because other people got like all 5 lower votes, she ranked pretty low.
I like Tiff. She got a long way to go to me, but I like Tiff.
Yeah.
For example, like Becky Lynch got 2 votes, but somehow still made the top list, but with 2 votes because someone ranked her that high.
True.
But 3 other people were like, I ain't ranking her at all.
Let's take a small break and we'll be right back.
What's up, my fellow bad guys? Just when you thought we were down bad, Brandy's here to pick us right back up. Thanks to our partnership with SeatGeek, we got good seats and great prices. New users can score a fantastic $20 off their final ticket purchase by using the exclusive promo code 4SIDESOTR at checkout for any event. That's 4SIDESOTR. Tell them the bad guy sent you.
4SIDESOTR. Use our code. Get $20 off new users at SeatGeek. If you're trying to go to any show, any concert, any event, use 4SIDESOTR, and you will get $20 if you spend $50 or more for new users. But you already know, like our friends at the Wrestling Realm say, just create a new email because you have the power to do that. So you can always get the $20 off, and you keep using our code. Fellas, when you see the SeatGeek ad, that means our friends over there at SeatGeek sponsor and our partners with Move the Needle. And our Move the Needle this week, fellas, is do the Street Profits move the needle. Let's start with Nitram.
He started with me for a reason.
No, I know he
the
did.
only one that's going to say no. No, they don't. Guys, the Street Profits are stale. They're stale. I've said this plenty of times. They're stale. They're doing the same stuff they've always done. Heels or faces. It's a stale gimmick. But Montez can cut a promo better than half the locker room. So at least there's that. But do they move the needle? No, I didn't care when they won the belts. I'm not tuning in to watch them wrestle. I don't think because I've seen it already. Montez starts, he gets a hot tag to Dawkins. Dawkins goes big. Dawkins gets teared down. He gets a hot tag. They hit a special. Montez hits a really high, really impressive frog splash. They win the match. It's stale. I'm tired of it. They do not move the needle.
Okay. Mo, how are you feeling? Do the Street Profits move the needle for you, sir?
The same thing he just said, I agree, total percent, 110%. Like, Street Profits are boring as hell to me, man. But like you said, Montez cut a great promo, but it's the same moves, the same tag, the same thing we always see. He said it best, man. I can't disagree. I'm over the Street Profits. Now, if Montez went do singles action, I'd probably be interested in that. But other than that, I'm cool.
Okay,
We have a spot for you in Hate University if you're interested. So we're sending you an application to Hate University. Feel free to join.
Brandy Savage, do the Street Profits move the needle for you, sir?
Everything they just said was blasphemous. They are the best tag team in the WWE. Like they have been for years. They like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Their matches are always gold. Even when they lose with style and grace. I don't know. I think as much as you guys say they're stale, think about how stale the tag division would be without them. Because like it's the only thing they got besides like Pretty Deadly. The tag division is in hell, but they're a product of a sad division. It's not their fault. I think if you give them good opponents and stuff, they're good. I also blame Bobby Lashley. That whole run was not great. It was just it was so nitpicked by creative, it just ruined everything. But I think they absolutely move the needle. I think they will always make great champions. I think they are kind of like the guys you want because they're always healthy. They can entertain, they can cook, and they put on great matches.
You know what? It's honestly, I knew when I did this, I said, okay, I know Nate Ram's going to say they don't, and I kind of knew that you were going to go like, yeah, they do move the needle. But Nate Ram did kind of say it best. Montez Ford is probably the best guy out of this entire tag team. I think Angelo's the better wrestler because he plays more of a powerhouse, and that's just that's who I attend to more because he does more in the ring for the tag team. But Nate Ram's kind of right in a sense. It's like no matter what they're doing, it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same solo cup, heel or face. I do like what you said. Are they the best tag team on the WWE roster right now? When you have Motor City Machine Guns, you have the War Raiders
Standing on it.
Standing on it.
Standing on it.
In
WWE, none of those guys have put on the matches, the caliber of matches they have put on.
It's been years. Lucha Brothers coming. The New Day.
It's been years, but they still are they're still the best. The Usos are the only ones that because come on now, put your ones up. I'm not gonna come on, we know this. But they're not a tag team no more.
Fair enough. Okay. I see what you're saying. But they don't move the needle for me. I'm excited. I get hyped for them when I see them doing good things because I want to see everybody strive in this sport, right? I want to see everybody hold titles and do good things if you put the work in, and they definitely put the work in. They're not lazy. You whatever they got to do, they go out there and do it to the best of their abilities. I think Bobby Lashley, I do agree with you. I do think the Bobby Lashley thing kind of hurt them in a sense because I think Bobby Lashley knew he was leaving and they knew he was leaving. So it was like, okay, well, we're going to bury you. And these guys just have to deal with it. And that sucked for the Street Profits because they didn't deserve that, right? So it's cool to see that they're at the top of their game. They turn heel. Triple H has this thing right now where all his super baby faces are all going heel on us. So look out for Bianca Belair maybe turning heel. I still think she helped Naomi attack Jade Cargill. That's all I'm saying.
Does Bianca with the Street Profits move the needle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I think if you put Naomi in the bloodline, you could skyrocket her.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I got to agree with Mo. I got to agree with Nate Ram. Right now, they don't move the needle for me, but I'm hoping in the near future, if they keep doing good, I'm going to keep cheering them on, and I will watch what they put on. But if it's boring, I will change the channel.
I'm not gonna lie. It just sounded like you guys are just being straight up gentlemen. You guys don't want to say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. Montez Ford is a single star. He has to cut Angelo Dawkins because from what I heard from all of you guys is Montez Ford moves the needle.
Honestly,
He does
What?
for me for sure.
I got,
honestly,
I got beef
I'm
with Montez Ford.
Montez
Well, you
Ford
know
is
why?
kind of like why?
No, because last week on my burner, I was tweeting that Montez Ford is the equivalent of Will Ospreay.
That's crazy.
Nah, someone really
The whole
tweeted that last
movement
week, and I was
online.
like,
Yeah,
it was
The whole
somebody
movement online.
somebody did
crazy.
tweet that last week, but I don't know if Montez is a singles guy though. You know what I mean?
Nah, he could be a star.
The way Nick Ram sees Jey Uso is kind of how I see Montez Ford. If you put him out there, he'll be good for the crowd,
Well,
but will
I
his
think-
in-ring show? You know what I mean?
I think he's missing the one thing that Jey Uso was missing for a long time, and that's a finisher. It's like if he were to even in tag team right now in this moment, if he were to adopt a actual strong finisher that isn't the frog splash, it would change the whole match structure. Like they were just complaining about. He needs a new move. It can't be that can't be his finisher anymore. It's been like that for years, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I could see that too. An actual finisher would definitely help his
I agree
moveset.
with y'all.
You're right too about Jey Uso.
Did y'all see last Friday, that he was like, you know how Jay got the whole youth thing. He's doing this whole thing, and now the crowd's going with it. So he's trying different things out.
Yeah.
So I get it on with that.
It takes some time. I do like heel Street Profits more than I like face Street Profits. Though I will say that. I will say that. Breaking news earlier this week, fellas. Our girl Sarah is leaving AEW. Her contract is done. She's not resigning. TK, I guess, didn't want to renew, but I think she was willing to leave anyway. She said that they're leaving on good terms. That her and TK are great friends. She's still great friends with everybody in the back, so there's no bad blood. My question for you, fellas, is what's next for her? You think she's done? You think she's hanging up the boots, or do you think she's gonna go across the street and go back to WWE? What do you think, Mo?
I think she's going to TNA.
Ooh.
I don't think WWE wants her just yet, but TNA and WWE got this whole partnership thing going. So if she does well there, then she could probably work her way back to WWE.
Okay, I like that. The TNA is a great shout, honestly, because they also just let go of a strong woman who definitely helped their women's roster and their storylines develop, which we're going to talk about here shortly. Nick Ram, how are you feeling about formerly known as Paige leaving AEW? Where do you think she's going to go?
Originally I had, she's doing her podcast and whatever. But originally I just had her down for Hall of Fame. But TNA is like exactly what she wants to do. So, she pretty much said it. She came to AEW to try to elevate younger women to boost up their morals, and now she feels like there's nothing left for her to do. There's no fit for her because these women that she was working with, the Jamie Haters and all them, they got their stardom now. So if she's gone, TNA's a place that besides Masha Slamovich, they could really use somebody like that. A certified legend, because I don't care what anyone says. The woman's a certified legend. She came back from an injury that ended her career almost twice. And as far as in-ring goes, she's honestly great. I mean, I don't know, she's done a lot of plastic surgery on her time off. I don't know if that affects her in-ring abilities, but she's one of my favorites of all time. I think she's great. So I didn't even think about her going to TNA. I instantly thought, well, Hall of Fame, Legends deal, media, stuff like that. But TNA would be a great shout for her.
The craziest thing about Paige, and I think a lot of people forget, is like, we're all congratulating John Cena on a 20-year run, right? Phenomenal. That's great. It's awesome that you did this. That's legendary. But Paige is right behind her, right? We've been watching Paige wrestle since she's been 18 years old. She's 32 currently right now. She's pushing that 20-year marker. So, you say living legend. I don't think she's there yet. She's done a lot of great things in her career. And injuries do suck, but she came back. She strived from them. She got healthy. She got stronger, and she learned how to work at a safer pace so she doesn't re-injure herself. Brandy, how are you feeling about Paige? You think she is going to TNA like Nick Ram and Mo are agreeing on? Or
That's
do you think
exactly
WWE
what I was gonna say. I was gonna be like a dick about it and be like, when she's gonna go where all legends careers go to die, and that's TNA, because like that's where a lot of these people's careers end up like ending, and then you go for the legends contract, you go for that. I think she's at that point, like you said, with the elevation, that's exactly the perfect place for her. It's just it's a little more low maintenance, and she'll be more of a star there. And then I think that'll get her back to WWE. Like you said, we got that mutual deal. That'll get her possibly matches on NXT, possibly things like that, and then put her in the Hall of Fame when the time's right.
That's very true. AEW loses Miss Page, but they do gain Mina, who did announce that she will be all elite when her contract at Stardom is over, which is going to be over in a few months here too. So it looks like AEW is going to be getting another phenomenal woman talent on their roster to wrestle, I guess, the phenomenal woman roster that they already have. Is Mina going to All Elite Wrestling a good move, Nick Ram?
That roster's stacked. I feel like I just hate it, man. AEW does this thing where they sign incredible talent. They get this 2-month push. I'm real excited for them. They lose to whoever champion is, and that's it. They get forgotten about. Or they become champion, and then someone new comes up, and boom, we forget those people. And I just hate it because Mina's really good. She's really good. She's been real good in all her appearances for AEW. Her English is not the best, but she can cut English promos. She has a whole character. You know, people get mad because she shakes her tits. Who cares? It's what she does. If you're famous for it, you're famous for it. But I mean, like, I look at her and I'm saying, yeah, it's gonna be real cool. But also, where's Mariah May? Where's Sheeta? Where's Deonna Purrazzo? Where's Rio? You know what I'm saying? Thunder Rosa just came back. I was real excited to see her. Almost forgot about her. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where your roster's so stacked, and yet you don't know what you're doing with it. And that kills me because they have one of the best women rosters on paper, but not executed.
You bring up Mariah. She's also, her contract's coming up, and I'm sure we'll talk about her later down the line too, and seeing what her thoughts are going to be or where she might move. I think AEW is going to throw her the bag. Brendan, how are you feeling about Mina? You think this is a good move for her going to AEW?
I think it's a great move for her. I think it also shows where Mariah May is going to end up. I think like there with Mina like going there, just it's already pre-built stories. There's already pre-built things. There's nothing to build. You already know who she is. You go to WWE, they might not know who that is. They might not be as tapped in as people on AEW. I know who Mina is. I'm invested in any of her stories because they're usually included with the champion or the contender, which would be Mariah May at this time. But like, so yeah, I think that's the best decision for her personally. Probably she gets paid. She gets to be with her friends, and she gets to be, like I said, in pre-built stories, which means you probably get TV time.
I know you're absolutely right, and that's a good point to bring up. You know, going to WWE it's a whole new world, right? When you go over there, you have to start fresh. You have to build yourself again, even when you're a top talent. You know what I mean? Like Ricky Starks went over there, but hey, got to go to NXT. Ricky Saints, we got to let people know who you are, even though people know who he is. And same for the chair guy, Ty Dillinger. He went over there with his real name. You know what I mean? We know who he is. But you got to start over again. You got to be fresh. Stephanie Valkyrie, big name all around the Indies. Everybody knew who she was. Had an incredible match with Mercedes Moné at Forbidden Door. Did incredible things in Mexico. Did incredible things in Japan. Where's she at? NXT. Have to start over. And same for Julia. So maybe Brennan, you're on a point right there. You know, like, why go and start over when I already have this fan base of people who know me, and if I move over, they'll just keep following me over. Mo, how are you feeling about Mina? Do you think her going to AEW was a good move?
I mean, I think it's the only move, honestly. Like y'all just said, like going to WWE just doesn't make sense at this time right now for her. Because I already go to AEW and just keep building these storylines that she already got going. I'm with it. But, you know, AEW's female list right now, division is so stacked up, you know. Monet, Sasha Banks, killing it. Even though I thought she should have dropped the title to that girl who was doing the puppet thing. I can't think of her name. I thought that shit was great. Like, I'm like, why not push her? Like, you know, Monet ain't gonna get hurt for losing her title. You know, she got 5 of them, 4 of them, whatever she got. So you know, but I think her start storylines with Tony or even with Monet would be all right, or the girl with the puppet. Like, I think that would be dope.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I think we're all on the same page. Mina going to AEW is a great move for her and her career, and hopefully she just strives and be successful and maybe win some gold over there. Maybe dethrones Mercedes. Who knows? I think that's going to be a spot for Athena down in the future because that's kind of the way to look like they're going. But I could be wrong. On some other breaking news earlier this week, we found out Gail Kim was let go of, or from TNA, I should say. They told her she could walk. They had no business wanting to re-sign her, and I think that might have been a little bit from the WWE partnership. I could be wrong. I could think that Stephanie and Triple H are going to let bygones be bygones, but in that world, you truly don't let bygones be bygones. Was this a smart move from TNA, letting Gail Kim walk? She was a big personnel on the X division while she was there for the women. She wrote a lot of the women's storylines when she was there. She put over a lot of women while she was there, and she was a champion while she was there too. Mo, how are you feeling about Gail Kim allowing to walk out and choosing a different path?
Well, I think you said the best with Triple H and Stephanie. I think I kind of just see it as their type of move for this because, I don't know. I could see her go to AEW. If not, she could just chill at home until they patch things up with WWE and maybe she'll get in the Hall of Fame. Because she's definitely in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So it's just a matter of time. But
I see it as they let her go, and this is the best reason to bring Paige back in. Yeah. Nimram, how you feeling about Gail Kim and being let go from TNA?
I don't like it, man. They did her like they did my boy PCO. I know how I feel about people treating legends bad. No, I mean, it's just Gail Kim is one of those names where if it wasn't for Gail Kim, TNA at a certain point in their crazy lifespan, because there's so many times where TNA should have died, she kept them alive. Gail Kim is the reason why that people talk about the Knockouts division. The reason why Mickie James left WWE to go to TNA. The reason why Awesome Kong became a household name. The reason why ODB had a whole long career. Gail Kim is that reason. And then Gail Kim becomes a writer for this company. She's the first, and I may be the only, but I know she is the first TNA Woman Hall of Fame. That's a fact. She is, and essentially her whole career is TNA. She's a face of TNA. And then, earlier they let go of Scott D'Amore. Crazy. Mm-hmm. Had a lot of his hands in the TNA product. Now you let go of someone who made the women's division in TNA somewhat remarkable with Jordan Grace. Someone remarkable with Masha Samovich. You're letting go of people who maybe it's a budget thing. Maybe it's a personal thing. But you're letting go of the people that make TNA. And I said it when Scott left. Once TNA stops feeling like TNA, we're just going to forget about it. And that's what I feel like that's what WWE wants.
I don't know if they want us to forget about it. I think they want to move NXT into that third final promotion, SmackDown or Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and make NXT not that, oh, that's just developmental. That's just developmental. And use TNA as developmental. They do have the WWE Evolve that's on Tubi. I don't think anybody's really watching that, but I could be wrong. I don't think that's developmental. They have the LFG show. I don't think that's developmental. We talk PC. I don't think that's developmental. So they could use TNA as that spot. Like, okay, we're sending you to TNA because, one, it has a huge following. It has a crowd. People like you there, and we bring you over. They should like you over here when we bring you over. And then in a sense, when we do bring you over, we don't have to start over again. We can bring you as that character that you built. And then, you just come over. So I see what you're saying, though. I know you hate that legends get treated disrespectfully, but PCO had it coming to him. Brady Savage, how you feeling? How you feeling about Gail Kim?
I think, I don't know if like the WWE will probably welcome her back, but she definitely should go somewhere. Like if she's, a talented writer and stuff, someone will make time for her. But if not, we'll see her at WrestleCade.
Hey, she can come right for 4 sides of the ring. I don't care. She can do whatever she wants over here. No, I'm just joking. Let's move into our last topic, and then we're going to move into the main event question. Fellas, a few weeks ago, we were talking about Strickland. He won his match for the #1 contendership against Ricochet. Phenomenal match. He is the number one contender. He had a hell of a promo. He cut a hell of a promo against John Moxley. Told John, you did Texas death matches. I won Texas death matches. So that's a huge statement to a guy who loves hardcore wrestling. So the question is, which will be the question until we get to Dynasty, should it be Swerve Strickland to defeat John Moxley and bring the AEW gold back home and reinstate that championship? Let's get the thoughts of Mo first.
I honestly would love to see Swerve get another chance at the belt. I just don't think it's going to be against Mox. I think Moxley's going to win, and I think that Moxley is going to drop the belt to Ospreay in the next one.
Oh, okay.
The story going. That's
okay. I didn't see. You know what? You might be the first person that said he's dropping the title to Ospreay. I did see a lot of Jay White. That Mox is going to finally drop it to Jay White. I saw MJF might make his way back. Hangman Adam Page might make his way back to the championship. But you might be the first person I've heard say so far that no, he's dropping it to Will Ospreay. Brady Savage, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember when Swerve and Ospreay fought, they had an incredible match. But I never felt that Ospreay was going to win against Swerve at that time. I didn't think it was that time. I think now is the time Ospreay will win. That's why I think that's why I think Mox will drop it to Ospreay.
Okay. I like that take, though. Bernie Savage, how are you feeling about Swerve Strickland? Do you think it is his time to get the world title back in his hand, be a two-time world champion? Do you think he should be the guy to go over John Moxley?
Absolutely. I think he's the guy. Since day one, I felt like it should have been Swerve Strickland. I mean, considering that the guy Moxley beat is the guy that beat Swerve, it would only make sense for it to be Swerve. Like, Swerve hasn't really even had a struggle to get back here. It's just been like a regular ride for him. I feel like he's more than capable, more than ready to be the guy to take on. He's the biggest babyface for the company at the moment, as far as not holding a belt. So I think it absolutely should be Swerve. It's the best story. I think, I've said this in the past that Bryan Danielson should be involved somehow, some way. And I think that's how you beat that group, because it's Bryan Danielson's old group. So he has to be involved. Whoever beats him is probably gonna have Danielson involved. So if we don't see Danielson up into the event, I don't know if it's gonna be Swerve, but it should absolutely be Swerve. He's the number one guy.
Okay, I like that. I like the fact that you said getting some mentoring from the guy who technically, well, he didn't start the faction himself. The guy that started the faction is William Regal, who's over there in WWE right now. But yeah, I like that. I like the fact that you go and talk to the guy who literally shared the locker room, drove miles and miles, and shared blood within the ring with these guys. So that's a good take right there. Adding Daniel Bryanson. Neighbor, how you feeling? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Neighbor, how you feeling about Swerve Strickland?
I feel like I remember when Mox won a title, and I kept saying, "Well, he's going to hold it to all in Texas." And Chano was always saying, "That's too long. That's too long. It doesn't make sense. How many stories can he run out?" And I feel like I think Swerve is the answer here, because when you go to All In, every storyline for the world title kind of already has Swerve in it. You have the Owen Hart competition, which has Will Ospreay, which has his own personal story with Swerve. You have Hangman Page, which is the story with Swerve. You have Jay White, which they don't have a story, but that's very easy to build. You have, Adam Cole, and then you also have MJF, who all have issues with Swerve Strickland. I feel like everything comes back to him, and then you still have Mox trying to compete. Mox can easily enter the Owen Hart competition, or not him, but someone of his group. There's a lot to do it. Swerve he's the guy. When it wasn't believable when Adam Copeland was going up 1-on-1. It wasn't believable when anyone else was going up 1-on-1. Orange Cassidy, none of these guys felt believable. I was like, oh yeah, this is Moxley's title. These are people who are getting fed. Swerve doesn't feel like he's feed for me. When Swerve went out there and said, "I'm the baddest guy in AEW, and you're just playing the guy who plays John Moxley," which was a whole Dean Ambrose line to John Cena, which is even greater deep cut. I sat there and said, oh yeah, it should be Swerve. 2-time world champion Swerve Strickland, and then you run the Hangman story one more time. And if you can't run the Hangman story, you still have the MJF, you still have the Will Ospreay, you still have he easily fits all these puzzle pieces. Where All In, your main event, could be the best wrestler against your best locker room. Because Moxley is not doing it.
That's true too. That is very true too. Swerve does have a lot of stories you can build from. But Mox also has a lot of stories. Even if Swerve doesn't get the title, and I do think Swerve should do it. I think Swerve should knock off Mox. But at the same time, now that Mo kind of brought Will Ospreay, is like, what happens to Mox when Swerve beats him? What is the Death Riders going to do? What is their initiative? What is their motive now that they don't have the AEW World Champion? Are they going to still attack the AEW World Champion and say, I don't like the way AEW is anymore? Because he kind of dropped that whole thing. He never really explained why he was still doing this, because I feel like AEW has been better since he has been doing this in a sense. You know, I say it every week. I do want to see the title on television. Why do we have a main title and it's hidden? I think that's just crazy. I think it's dumb. It's the dumbest thing in the world because it's such a beautiful belt. They should be showing it. It's been too long. So I do think Swerve is the guy to bring it back to the face of planet Earth and show the fans the AEW World Championship the way it should be.
But that's what I wanted to say. Like, you know, when you look at that belt being hidden, like the person who uncovers it undoubtedly has to be the face of the company. And there's only two people. That's Swerve and or Will Ospreay.
I don't know. I think you're sleeping on Jay White though.
Nah, he's not the face of the company.
I think
He's great.
I think MJF.
His time is coming, but it's not this.
So the only reason I didn't say MJF because he's like a heel. So I feel like it does have to be like a baby face. But yeah, MJF is undoubtedly one of the faces of the company.
I can see that. Let's move on to our main event question, fellas.
It looks like all the talking has been done. It's time for the main event.
Four sides of the ring main event question tonight is: should John Cena beat Ric Flair's record and become a 17th time world champion? Let's start with our special guest, Mo.
This is tough for me, man. I hate that I gotta go first.
Just don't show your grandmother your answer.
Yeah, I know I can't. She'll come down from her grave and whoop my ass. I think he should. I think John Cena is one of the greatest. He's not on my Mount Rushmore, but I respect the hell out of John Cena. I think this is really great for him and great for the company. Great just to, I ain't gonna say kick Ric Flair away from anything, but it'd be kind of cool in 2025. We get the iconic Ric Flair title run or title reign to be done with and just now give it to John Cena. Because hell, guys, he's earned it. I mean, in my opinion, John has definitely earned everything that he's gotten. So I'm with it, and I kind of see the storyline where The Rock gets involved some way, somehow, and then Cody and The Rock will probably face off next WrestleMania. That's just my opinion. And I think I think John Cena will run this to SummerSlam and keep it pushing. So I'm with it.
We got one saying beat Ric Flair's record. Let's see if we can get all four of us to say it. Nitram, how are you feeling? You think John Cena should beat Ric Flair's record?
There's no one on this business who deserves to beat that record more than John Cena. There's no one that I can name. Like, people will be like, oh, Randy Orton's 14 times. That's cool. He could sit there and look at it. Triple H could sit there and look at his 15. There's no one who deserves it more than John Cena. And to be fair, even if his last reign sucks, like if he really did win the title and went home like he says he is, I wouldn't even care. Because Ric Flair, which you guys know, I love Ric Flair. That's the Nature Boy. I geeked out when I saw him in person. That's my guy. The man has, God bless us, at least 10 more years. And I say that with full positivity. But 20 years from now, 30 years from now, John Cena's still living. And who knows who's going to be close to beating this record at the time, where they can bring John Cena in and people can see the guy that still holds the record. I feel like that's what makes it more sentimental. You know, Roman had this long title streak, but everyone he beat is no longer around. So they just kind of showed a little flash of who it was, the Pedro Morales and all these other people. But we know when John Cena passes it, we're going to see Ric Flair's reaction. We're going to see this. And it makes it more of a moment than it ever will be if they don't do it. And then 15 years from now, Javon Evans becomes 17-time world champion and he beats Ric Flair's record, but Ric Flair's long gone and we're getting Charlotte Flair's reaction. I don't really care for that. I think Triple H is good at giving people certain records, and a lot of these records are being broken for the longevity of the future. These people are going to be around another 40 years in case we want to break it again. And John Cena's that guy.
Okay. 2-0. Brandy Savage. Do you think John Cena should become a 17-time world champion and beat Ric Flair's record?
Absolutely. Records are meant to be broken, especially in wrestling. Like the whole point of Undertaker's streak is to end. The whole point of like anything in wrestling is to give back. We give back by giving titles. So you are now the most reigning champion. You know, John Cena deserves that. And like that's how wrestling has always worked. You know what I mean? Like you're the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy who beat the streak. Like that's just it's. I don't think it should be any. If there's only one other person I would name, it's probably Charlotte Flair. But John Cena, as far as the men's titles goes, without a doubt.
3-0. And I agree with you guys. As you know, John Cena is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I don't think there's anybody in wrestling who could have done what he did and carry the WWE for the 15 years he did while it was on the PG network. They strapped him and he just did everything that they want him to do, even if he feels like we hated us. But Nick Ram, I think you said it best. You want to have those moments where when records are broken, the guy that had it there can stand up and, you know, clap for that person. Give them that standing ovation. Because one thing that did suck, like you said, with Roman Reigns is, you know, when he got so high, when he got to those numbers, you know what I mean? We couldn't see those guys that he was passing because that would have meant a lot if you had a backstage segment and that dude came in and shook Roman Reigns' hand. You know what I mean? It says like, I'm honored you're on this list. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think John Cena should do it. And I think John Cena should also hold it as long as Ric Flair was holding it. You know what I mean? Have a couple guys get close, have one person tie. And then when 25 years, 30 years, like you said, down the line, whenever you find that guy, whoever it is, you know, to become 18th, it will mean a whole lot more because John Cena will be there. And like you said, maybe in 20 years, you know, 25 years, John Cena could probably still cut his promos and tell this kid or tell this grown man who, you know, you're not going to do it 18 times. Like I chased it 20 years and I'm only 17, you know? So I agree with all three of you. This is a sweep here. WWE, Triple H, if you're listening, make John Cena a 17-time world champion because you will not regret it. And I think everybody will be, well, for the ones that are booing and the ones that are saying John Cena sucks, obviously won't like it. But we just get to the final goal, and that's Cody Rhodes losing this title. And I do like the fact that Mo said, you know, if he does lose, then we're definitely getting Cody Rock next Mania because that has to happen for the soul of Cody Rhodes because we got to bring that back up, you know. So we won't forget that The Rock said that on live television. Told my man, I want your soul. So,
I want your soul, Cody Rhodes.
So, hey, but that's everything in wrestling this week so far. Mo, thank you so much for joining us tonight, man, and spreading your knowledge on professional wrestling. It was really awesome to talk to you. Hopefully we get you on again. This was your debut. So
yeah, let me know. I'm here for y'all, man. I like this. I love talking about wrestling and sports, baby. I'm here all day.
Absolutely.
Good.
With that being said, Mo, please tell all of our listeners and our followers where they can find you anytime during the week.
Yeah, so definitely I'm on Instagram. Follow me at BIGMO102 on Instagram. 102 Jamz, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday, man. That's cool. Appreciate that.
Amen. And you know, I'm Brandy Savage. You know, you can find me at Brandy Freaking Savage on Twitter, Life and Times on Instagram. Also, check out the shops, 4 Sides of the Ring. We got Opinionated. We got all the merch up there. Definitely check that out, guys.
And of course, I'm the one that makes them say, "Oh, damn, I'm Nick Ram." And you can find me on Twitter at NITRAM_4 SOTR. That's NITRAM_4 SOTR.
I'm Marcus Hernandez. You can find me at the Founder MH, but most importantly, follow us on all of our social media platforms. Four Sides of the Ring podcast on Instagram, 4 Sides OTR on X. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Twitter. We're everywhere. You can follow us here. If you're on the show right now, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you don't miss any of our episodes. Other than that, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Friday Night SmackDown. And as always, if you're not enjoying wrestling, you're just not watching it right. We'll catch you guys next week.
Okay.
All right. Mo's up. Brennan's up.
We're